Stormlancer starts with a bang in the form of crash landing on an alien planet where magical creatures called Stormhearts choose to bond with you and your co-op companion, thus granting you the ability to continually come back to life, consistent with the roguelike genre. However, what interested me most was this little part in the description claiming that it was built for co-op. While you can play solo, 2-player co-op seems to be the intended way to play. So is it any good? Before we get any farther, quick thank you to the publishers for providing us a review key. This is a roguelike game, meaning the intention is to play the game, repeatedly die, and try again with the knowledge and skills you gained from your previous runs. The game's description calls this a roguelike, but it actually seems to have more in common with the roguelite genre. Beating a roguelike relies purely on player skill and knowledge from repeated deaths. Roguelites, however, actually offer permanent upgrades to help you get stronger, thus giving less skilled players the ability to beat the game and a sense of progression. Stormlancers offers a challenging yet approachable difficulty that is actually one of the only games of its style that my wife and I have beat. That's not to say that it's easy, there is definitely a learning curve for both the worlds and the telegraphs of the enemies, but it provides a good challenge and is certainly not as grueling as some of its fellows. Along that vein, Stormlancers offers 2 forms of permanent upgrades. At the beginning, your movement pool is sparse with a simple run, jump, and attack. It felt a little boring and a little weak, but scattered throughout the levels are 4 different mobility upgrades that make the game much more enjoyable. The first 2, a dodging slide and a double jump, are found fairly early in the game. These serve to make the movement and the fluidity of the game much more enjoyable, especially since they are permanent once you unlock them. These do unlock little new areas, but mostly just the ability to open a chest or 2, not anything game-changing. The second way to garner a permanent upgrade is by killing certain elite enemies. When you do so, you'll gain a currency called Crithium, which can be used to purchase a variety of upgrades in the hub before every run. From starting with a better weapon, to health increases, to increasing the efficacy of potions. There are a lot of different things to choose from at a variety of costs. There are 4 worlds to make your way through, each filled with a variety of monsters to fight and chests scattered about to open. These chests are important and are your main source of powering up. To start the game, you are given a basic rusted sword and a basic gun and are left with an empty slot. The green chests contain healing items that can be held in your 1 item slot, and the majority of the other chests contain weapons, and if you're lucky, they will be better than what you're currently using. But opening that chest is not free. Each one is labeled with a price in gold, which can be collected by defeating monsters, so while you're not really required to defeat any of the monsters in the game, except for the bosses, you will need to gather enough gold to upgrade your weapons and acquire items. The weapons are all fun to use. There's a decent variety, though we definitely saw ourselves getting some of the same often enough. Weapons gain power in a couple of different ways. Firstly, a star system from 1 to 8, then they can also have elemental effects like poison, fire, or ice. There are also some other things involved in how they work, like their speed and range. The melee weapons had the biggest difference, with a greatsword being a lot slower than a katar or a javelin is. But the guns also vary, with the base ones having a very slow reload time, and more powerful ones getting bursts or scatter shots. At the end of each level, there is a selection of passive upgrades that you get to choose from for free, as well as a shop to purchase new weapons or items at without having to gamble your money on a chest. This is also where we would find some of the magical abilities that take the place of your item slot, making you choose between carrying them or a potion. The game does not have drop-in, drop-out co-op. You can start the game in solo or co-op, and at any time exit to add or remove a player, but it will start you back at the beginning of whichever world you are on. So there's no adding a player right before a boss fight. But there are some really cool things about playing together, like reviving each other. The caveat being that to revive them, you have to split your health in half and give it to them. They did a good job of keeping players together. The screen splits the difference. Instead of following one character, it always chooses to keep both characters in view, so you can be at opposite ends of the screen without any issues. There's also a teleport feature that mostly comes in when you fail a jump and would fall off screen. Gold is not shared between players, it is personal to each player, but there are occasional machines that allow you to deposit gold for the other player to withdraw. We ended up using this to constantly share our gold, so only one of us was carrying it so that we could afford the more expensive chests. It's kind of nice to have your own gold pool, but honestly, it probably would have been better to just have it be shared. Some of the permanent upgrades apply to both players, like increasing your max health, but others, like starting with a better weapon, only apply to one player. You won't start with 2 better guns, there will just be 1 better gun at the start of the run. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was definitely a little bit of a disappointment. The biggest co-op struggle came in the form of the map. It is fantastic, showing you all the areas you've been to and even marking chests you've passed, including whether they're healing chests or weapons. But in co-op, for some reason, it requires both players to point their joysticks in the same direction to scroll through it, which was very tedious and annoying for no reason. Overall, this is just a very fun co-op experience that works well too. There are tiny differences in the world generation each playthrough, but the layout of each world stays basically the same. There may be a wall where there was not one before, but the changes are mostly in the placement of the chests. The first world felt the most polished, with little challenge rooms that would move around and provide a free weapon for going through them, while none of the other worlds offered something similar. There are only a few unique enemies in each world, but they were fun to learn and start to recognize their telegraphed attacks. There are also only 3 bosses. It felt a little bit odd that one of the worlds was missing a boss fight, but it did have its own unique-ish challenge. Both the art style and the music here stand out. The animations are really nice and smooth and enjoyable to look at, and the music and sound effects complement it really well. We played on the Nintendo Switch 2 and the game ran really well. The movement was smooth and fluid, and the control scheme was very easy to handle. It's even simple enough that you could play with half a Joy-Con if you wanted to. We had a couple of monsters phase into the wall where we couldn't fight them, though they also didn't appear to be doing damage to us. But the most annoying bug we experienced was a slowdown glitch. After dispatching an enemy on the second world, I was all of a sudden slowed down and just moving at the tiniest little speed, and at first I thought it was some kind of effect that he applied to me, but it never went away, even after dying and being revived. The only fix was restarting the next run. We also had some audio cutout in the later levels. I believe it was related to a shield ability that we were using, but I'm not entirely certain. This is a game that is meant to be replayed repeatedly. That's what roguelikes are. Even after watching the credits roll, we have not done everything in the game. There's still quests we've been given to beat the game without taking damage, beat it in under 20 minutes, that kind of thing. And there's even a member of our space crew that we haven't rescued yet. I'm not entirely certain how long we've spent playing the game, but I guess it to be around 7 to 8 hours, which is worth the $20 to me, though we did get the game for free. Even after beating it, I still want to play more because I enjoyed it. Some of these games are so challenging and take so long, but this one is really refreshing and felt attainable, and it left me with good feelings for it rather than frustration. Stormlancers is fantastic, but if you want an amazing couch co-op roguelike game, click on this video right here to go check out Ember Knights. It is one of our favorite couch co-op games we have ever played, and you're gonna want to see it. I cannot wait to see you over there. I love you guys. Y'all are awesome.